लड़ी दिया प्रभु
दिया है तो कर
क्या बात
दो चाहिए बहुत हफ्ते लिए दिया नहीं है ना
3
जब तक हमारे 6-7 पेंसिल किया
जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Everyone can hear me online?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
We're reading from Canto 3, chapter 27 and text 13 today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Evam Trivrid Ahankaro
Evam Trived Ahankaro
Bhutendriya Manomayai
Bhutendriya Manomaye
Swabhasair Lakshito Nena
Swavase Lakshito Nena
Sada Bhasena Satyadruk
Sada Bhasena Satyadrit
Evam Trivrid Ahankaro
Evam Trived Ahankaro
Bhutendriya Manomayai
Bhutendriya Manomaye
Swabhasair Lakshito Nena
Swavase Lakshito Nena
Sada Bhasena Satyadruk
Sada Bhasena Satyadrit Evam Trived Ahankaro
Evam Trivrid Ahankaro
Bhutendriya Manomaya
Bhutendriya Manomayai
Chavase Lakshito Nena
Swabhasai Lakshito Nena
Tat Avasena Satyadrit
Sada Bhashena Satyadrik. Evam,
Evam
thus,
thus
Trivrit,
Trived
the threefold,
the threefold
Ahankara,
Ahankara
false ego,
false ego
Bhuta Indriya Manamayai,
Bhutendriya Manamaye
consisting of body, senses, and mind.
consisting of body, senses and mind.
Swa Abhasai,
So Avashaya
by its own reflections.
by its own reflection.
Lakshita
Lakshita
is revealed.
is revealed.
Anena,
Anena
by this.
by this.
Sat Abhasena,
Tadavasena
by reflection
by reflection.
of Brahman.
By reflection.
Satyadrik,
Satyadrik
the self-realized soul.
self-reflection.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Abhay Charanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The self-realized soul is thus reflected first in the threefold ego and then in the body, senses, and mind. Purport. The conditioned soul thinks, I am this body, but a liberated soul thinks, I am not this body. 1 second, I'll share my screen. The conditioned soul thinks, I am this body, but a liberated soul thinks, I am not this body. I am spirit soul. This I am is called ego or identification of the self. I am this body or everything in relationship to the body is mine is called false ego. But when one is self-realized, that identification is real ego. One conception is in the darkness of the threefold qualities of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, and other is in the pure state of goodness called Suddha Sattva. or Vasudeva. When we say that we give up our ego, this means that we give up our false ego, but real ego is always present. When one is reflected through the material contamination of the body and mind in false identification, he is in the conditional state. But when he is reflected in the pure stage, he is called liberated. The identification of oneself with one's material possessions in the conditional stage must be purified, and one must identify himself in relationship with the Supreme Lord. In the conditional state, one accepts everything as an object of sense gratification, and in the liberated state, one accepts everything for the service of the Supreme Lord. Krishna consciousness, devotional service, is the actual liberated state of a living entity. Otherwise, both accepting and rejecting on the material platform are in voidness or impersonalism are imperfect conditions for the pure soul. By the understanding of the pure soul called Satyadrik, one can see everything as a reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A concrete example can be given in this connection. A conditioned soul sees a very beautiful rose and he thinks that the nice aromatic flower should be used for his own sense gratification. This is one kind of vision. A liberated soul, however, sees the same flower as a reflection of the Supreme Lord. He thinks this beautiful flower is made possible by the superior energy of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, it belongs to the Supreme Lord and should be utilized in His service. These are two kinds of vision. The conditioned soul sees the flower for his own enjoyment, and the devotee sees the flower as an object to be used in the service of the Lord. In the same way, one can see the reflection of the Supreme Lord in one's own senses, mind, and body in everything. With that correct vision, one can engage everything in the service of the Lord. It is stated in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that one who has engaged everything, his vital energy, his wealth, his intelligence, and his words, in the service of the Lord, or who desires to engage all these in the service of the Lord, no matter how he is situated, is to be considered a liberated soul or Satyadrik. Such a man has understood things as they are. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातान् सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम। ओम तत्सत्। I request, I seek blessings of all the devotees who are present here online and in person. I have no qualification to sit in this Vyasasana. I'm just doing it as a service. So in this chapter, it is explained about how a living entity takes birth in this material universe. So the primary reason that the living entity is put into this material nature is by developing this false ego. So he wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna. So uh, instead of enjoying with Krishna, the living entity wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna. So he wanted to delete Krishna in whatever activity he's doing. So by desiring that, he is put into this material nature, and he develops this false ego, identifying that he is this body, and the body is he is his self, and by from that he develops various conceptions of based on the body, that this country belongs to me, this land belongs to me, and this house belongs to me, this my family, my wife belongs to me, these parents belongs to me, and my children belong to me, and I. So that conception of I am this body, I am this family, I am this I belong to this country, so that keeps on increasing forever. So based on that, he develops various other complications in his life, and not only he, if I mean, by building the bodily conception, he not only harms himself but everyone who is dependent upon him, like his family and like whatever society he is in. So just like if he becomes a scientist based on that bodily conception, so he will be dragging into hell many people along with him. So by developing all nonsense technologies which doesn't last forever, so and putting everyone into, by attracting them in those kind of technologies and those kind of science theories, he drags other living entities also into that conception. So why this Prabhupada says that anda yatanda rupaniyamana, so it's just like a blind man leading blind. So the real spiritual life starts with identifying that I am not this body. So very nice point Prabhupada has mentioned in this purport. He says that the conditioned soul thinks, Jai Shri Radha Gopjanul, Jai Shri Nitai Padma, Jai Shri Prabhupada. He says that the conditioned soul thinks I am this body, but a liberated soul thinks I am not this body. I am spirit soul. So this is where the spiritual life begins. So no matter how much our condition a living entity is, when he starts developing this this ideology of I am not this body, by how? By hearing an authority, hearing to a bona fide spiritual master. So from hearing from a bona fide spiritual master that he is not this body but a part and parcel of Krishna, that's when he starts developing his knowledge that he belongs to Krishna and he doesn't belong to this material world, and his constitutional nature is Anandamaya Abhyasat. So a living entity is by nature to be happy. So what is happiness? What is happiness? How is happiness defined? So happiness is not defined by what possessions we have. So I get a car, I get a nice house, I have a nice family, I have a nice wife, I have a nice husband. That is not happiness starts from. So it starts from how surrendered we are to our spiritual master, and how surrendered we are to Krishna. So surrendered in the sense Prabhupada is saying here in the purport that when one see if one sees a flower, when one sees a nice aromatic flower, one thinks that one who is completely in the bodily consciousness, he thinks that this flower is that nice aromatic flower is for me. But the same devotee, he thinks that this flower can be used in the service of Krishna. So it's not just theoretically thinking that this flower is, I mean, when it's mentioned here in the purport that this flower is for in the service of Krishna, but we naturally need to feel that. We naturally need to feel if whatever we see in our in every step of our life. So if we see just like if you see a car, if we have our car, when we see the car, we should be thinking about Krishna. So we should feel that this car is for the service of Krishna. This is not my car. If we see our money, we should feel that this money is to be used in the service of Krishna. This is not for my sense gratification. So just day before yesterday on Sunday, I think Yugal Kishore Prabhuji was mentioning the pastime of Sudama, and when Sudama goes to Lord Krishna in Dwaraka, he gets a lot of opulence, and he gets a lot of opulence even without asking. And when he goes home, he sees his wife completely different, and everything that needs to be in the place of his poor hut turns into a huge mansion. And he gets so much opulence that is equal to the opulence of Kubera. So even after getting that much opulence, Sudama, he he goes and he doesn't even feel that he whatever he has possessed is for his enjoyment. He just sees that as a blade of grass, nothing more than that. He if I remember, I remember reading that he still continues to sleep on the floor and all, even after getting that much opulence. So that is renunciation. So even whatever opulence we have, or whatever possessions we have, if we feel that those are for the service of Krishna, and he does, I mean, it's, they say that if you put water on the leaf of a lotus, it just slides down like that. So that is not attached to that water. So just like that, we should not be attached to that opulence, and we should be attached to serving with that opulence, serving Krishna with that opulence. So that is seeing Krishna in every part of our life. So we should really think that, I mean, we get so many distractions. I mean, we every tiny step of our life, we get so many distractions, and Maya tries to pull us down with different desires. So there are two kinds of energies of Maya: Prakshepatmika, Avarnatmika. So Prakshepatmika Shakti is what shows the different desires to the living entity, and it bewilders him, it confuses him by showing those different sense objects or sense gratificatory things. It just diverts the living entity with different desires. So how is it able to divert the living entity? Because the living entity has a tendency to enjoy separate from Krishna. So he has a tendency to enjoy separate from Krishna. That's the reason why it is able to show him different desires and trying to bewilder him. So if he is self-satisfied in serving Krishna, how he will be able to be diverted by Prakshepatmik Shakti? So that's the same case we see in the case of Haridas Thakur. He was able to conquer Maya herself, not, I mean, personified Maya, not just some form of Maya, uh, just like a fool like me, seeing a form of Maya gets bewildered and gets diverted and completely gets lost. So, but Haridas Thakur, even if Maya herself in her complete form is present in front of her, in front of him, he is not even interested. I mean, he doesn't even want to look at her, and he's so because why? Because he's so absorbed in chanting the holy name. Not even chanting the holy name, he's absorbed in serving the holy name. So if he's serving the holy name, means he's absorbed in serving Krishna. Because he's serving Krishna, even whatever desires or whatever kinds of distractions Maya tries to provide him, is not even bothered. Even, I mean, he's not an inch it could move his heart or his attention from Krishna. So that is a life of spiritual world. That's how we need to practice from here. So they are, I mean, Haridas Thakur and all, they came here just to show us an example that we also need to behave like that. We also need to become like that. So it's not just glorifying Haridas Thakur and many other great devotees like Goswamis and all our acharyas. So it's not just about glorifying them all, but we need to think that what difference is there between them and us. They just showed an example. They have much more opulence than that in loving Krishna. They just showed a small example so that we can implement. So it's not just to they didn't just come to display their opulence of bhakti. They just came to inspire us. They just came to tell us that we also need to implement that. It's not that, oh, Haridas Thakur is great, I mean, he's a pure devotee, he was able to do that, and I won't be able to do that extent. No, he came to teach us to live like that. So we also can do bhakti in that way. We also can become surrendered to Krishna in that way. So because I mean, just to teach us that they all sacrificed their comfort in the spiritual world, just like Prabhupada did. He sacrificed everything. He traveled to US to preach to the conditioned souls. So we should take that mercy and should not become complacent and satisfied with small things, that okay, I'm doing my 16 rounds, okay, I'm doing whatever service I'm doing in the temple. No, I mean, if we become complacent, uh, how can we call that we are practicing pure devotional service? So we cannot advance. Even after millions of lifetimes, we will be in the same position. So just like Sripad Aindra Prabhu, what Aindra Prabhu has achieved, I mean, he's like obviously he's a liberated soul, but what is the difference between Aindra Prabhu and us? He has a determination. So Aindra Prabhu used to perform Sankirtan alone. I mean, he used to go in. He used to have a Sankirtan van. He used to go alone, and he says that he used to do Sankirtan. He used to do Kirtan alone for hours, not just like half an hour, 1 hour. If I sing for 20 minutes, 20 minutes or 15 minutes, I'm tired. He used to sing for continuously 8 hours and 12 hours sometimes, and that is a determination he has to spread the Sankirtan. So that determination, he used to go alone in when he was in Brooklyn Temple for more than a year, I think. So every day, and one one guy who sees him doing kirtan in the morning, he says that these Hare Krishnas don't have any job, go get a job. And he comments like that and he walks away. And Aindra Prabhu will be doing kirtan, and when he comes back after finishing his office, and he sees Aindra Prabhu still doing kirtan there, and he's completely shocked, and he changes his opinion that these guys have something in them, and goes and donates him some money. So that is a determination of Aindra Prabhu to give Krishna to others. So I mean, that determination, if we have, I mean, if we don't get complacent with small things and small bhakti, whatever bhakti we are doing, just like an insurance, so we also will be able to serve Krishna nicely. So if we can serve Krishna from here, then we don't need to be worrying about like going back to Godhead. So we are absorbed in that service. So when we are absorbed in the service, Krishna will take care of taking us back home, back to Godhead. So that if we imbibe that mood of Golok Vrindavan from here, so then we can easily, there's no difference even if we are here or if we are in Golok. So it hardly matters. We are always in the absorption of Krishna and Krishna and his Leela. So his Leela is obviously non-different from him. So when we are absorbed in that, there's no need of worrying about or getting an insurance of, oh, I need to do my 16 rounds today, and when I'm done with my 16 rounds, okay, I'm done with my bhakti today, and I can do whatever I want. So we will be free from that mentality, and even there will be a very minimal chance for Maya to distract us. So that we need to happiness we need to find in serving Krishna and doing bhakti. So just like Prabhupada is saying, by that understanding of the pure soul called Satyadruk, one can see everything as a reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So by understanding that we are not this body and we are an eternal servant of Krishna in realization, not just in theory, in realization, then that understanding of a pure soul, Prabhupada is saying that understanding is of a pure soul called Satyadrik. So then one can see everything as a reflection of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can see everything, each and everything that we are seeing in this world as a perverted reflection of that spiritual world, or a reflection of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that so obviously mind drags us in different directions, but when we start rejecting our mind, Prabhupada says that Saraswati Thakur used to say, beat your mind 100 times with shoes when you wake up in the morning. When you go to bed, beat your times 100 times with broomsticks. So when we do that, what Krishna says, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. By practice, one can control his mind. He says, yes, Arjuna, it is difficult to control. Arjuna says it is controlling wind is easier than controlling the mind. He says, yes, Arjuna, but one can do it by Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. So by practicing, one can do that by always engaging mind. Start rejecting mind. When one starts rejecting mind, then and forcefully drags it into service of Krishna, it gets the taste gradually. Just like Sri Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Instructions, when one I think Prabhupada says, when one is given the jaundice, one is given a sweet candy when he has jaundice, it is not so tasty. So when but still he takes it again and again, then that sweet candy being a medicine, he gradually develops taste for that sweet candy. So that's how we need to practice, and by rejecting our mind, whatever things we have, and how can we also support our get strength to reject our mind? By determination, by strong determination to serve Krishna, by strong determination to go back to Godhead. So are we trying to extend our life and take millions of births again, or are we trying to our goal? We should think like, why did we come into bhakti? We should strongly think that did we come into bhakti to just do 16 rounds and become complacent, or did we come into bhakti to really implement what was said in what was taught by acharyas and go back to Krishna in this lifetime? So we always need to think about that, and always in every stage of our life, if we have that determination, so vyavasayatmika buddhi ekaya kurunandana, only one left. So that determination when we develop, then we see Krishna in every aspect of our life. And even if we have even that, I mean, if you have that kind of determination, even if some comes and diverts or presents some sense gratificatory object in front of us, we just spit on that. So because we are so driven by driven to serve Krishna and driven to go back to Krishna. So that's all I wanted to speak. If anyone has any comments, and please forgive me for speaking anything wrong, or if I have offended anyone, I sincerely beg your forgiveness. If anyone has any comments or any additions or any corrections, please, I would like to hear that.
Very nicely. Class, very thank you so much.
Thank you. Kuch corrections? And Prabhuji Mataji, anyone has anything online?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
Dandavat pranam Mataji.
Prabhuji, such a nice class. So many nice points. I especially liked the points that really were a very nice reminder to me were how you brought about the point of Haridas Thakur and how easy it is to think that yes, they are pure devotees, they can do that, but we cannot. But all the acharyas came to teach us. So
Yes.
easily we say with by their own example, but it's always such a nice reminder that we also have to follow in their footsteps. The second point that I really liked was how we have to train our mind and not become complacent. And the best part was when we slowly train the mind, then we develop taste. And by training the mind also through determination. So you gave the whole process. Wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Whatever I heard, I repeated, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So we'll end it here. Thank you so much for being online and listening. I'm not worthy to speak anyway. So I beg your mercy and I beg your blessings. Mancha kalpatal Shripasan Chapatanam Paranabi Vaishnavi Nantakoti Vaishnavi ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.